everyone is happy to watch this show. No, really. Blow the whistle and get the action started. We promise nothing will go over your heads. Wave to the camera and let's get this one started. Just kidding. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. Joe, you know, we've got some nice weather. Everybody's getting their season started. Not too shabby.
No, it's absolutely.
We looked at this time last year and we weren't.
No, at this time last year we weren't even doing a show yet. We were saying, you know what, we'll get to you when it's time to start playing spring sports. Instead, actually, a couple of teams have been very, very busy in this first week. We did see our first postponement.
We did.
The lacrosse teams had to postpone game one. And we'll talk about them later in the show. We did catch up with them and get previews with both teams. You know, I think it may be a good thing just because of the team they were facing. Puts them a bit more to mid-season to have that matchup with Champlain Park, and I think both teams will benefit from that extra time. But they both got the season started this week, and the weather's absolutely gorgeous to start this week, and it shows no signs of turning around, at least in the very near future.
Well, the good thing is for that, especially for baseball last year, they had so many games in a row because of the weather delays. Not going to experience that this year. I don't think so. We looked at the long-term forecast, and we did our projections, and I think we're doing pretty good. So.
That you heard it here first. The CTN meteorologist, not accredited in any way, shape, or form, or any
from Panama.
Of the imagination.
I went to a school in Panama. That's where I got my degree. Yeah, online. Panama University. Go Gators.
Highly accredited, let me tell you. Well, we do have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's just get right to it. Baseball team opened its season on time last Wednesday, hosting a Minnetonka team ranked in the state's top 10. It was less than ideal conditions, but it was good enough to play. It was cloudy, it was cold, and it was windy. The Cardinals' performance, especially in the field, unfortunately, was also less than ideal, leading to a quick exit in a lopsided loss. Skipper's pitcher Jimmy Ramsey started strong, catching Noah Wolf looking after a 10-pitch at-bat to start the bottom of the first inning. But the Cardinals were able to grab the lead early. Bases loaded with one out in the first. Jake Hansen grounds to short. Wojo is out at second, but Hansen beats the relay, allowing Cody Thompson to score, and the Cardinals have the early 1-0 lead. That score holds until the top of the third when Minnetonka gets hot. Fox Liam drives this one to right for a 2-run double. That would give the Skippers the lead, and they just continue to pile it on. Next batter is T.J. Nicholson, and he sneaks a seeing eye single through the left side of the infield. Josh Falk and Liam will score to make it a 4-1 lead for Minnetonka. And they weren't quite done in the third. Ben Lavorsi with a single to right. The Skippers send Nicholson home. Great throw to the plate by Dan Matthews. Reed makes the tag, but the ump had his eyes closed, and he calls Nicholson safe. Minnetonka has a healthy 5-1 lead. That momentum continues in the fourth. Bases loaded with nobody out. Liam lines to right again. An RBI single starts another big inning. The first 7 batters of the inning would score for the Skippers. 2 on this single by Jack Kuzma. That put Minnetonka to a comfortable 12-1 lead. Cardinals get one back in the bottom of the fifth, but lose 12-5 or 12-2 in 5 innings.
You have to be impressed with the way that game started for Minnetonka. Did a nice job. I thought their pitcher Jimmy Ramsey did a really nice job keeping the Cardinals at bay.
He did.
Cardinals just having a tough time after that first run score, just getting opportunities.
Well, that is true, but and I don't know that you take away the errors in the field that the Cardinals would have won this ball game, but it certainly wouldn't have gotten out of hand the way that it did in those 2 innings in the third and fourth. Now, my scorebook, a little different than what I saw online. I had the Cardinals for 3 to 4, maybe even 5 errors, depending on how mean or nice I was being, or if I was being nice to the pitcher or nice to the fielders. And I think the team officially only put them down for 2.
2 or 3, I can't remember.
But
yeah,
either way, some miscues in the field early in the season is to be expected. And it really, if you're going to have those struggles, have them against a team like Minnetonka that is a non-conference team that is a very strong non-conference team, that the next time you see them, if you see them again, it's only going to be in the state tournament.
Well, absolutely. I mean, and it's a good home opener for them because it tests what you have, and and they had just come back from a week in Florida, had an opportunity to see now in a game live here in Minnesota what they had. Not the way they wanted to start their season, but it's obviously very early.
Well, and the weather, a little bit of a change.
It
was cold and windy, but it was dry, so we played. The Cardinals played again against Rogers on Friday, and they lose this one. And again, it's due to errors in the field late in the ball game. Cardinals leading this one late, but give up 5 runs in the 7th.
5 runs in the 7th, correct.
And I believe only 2 runs ended up being earned of those 7 runs for Rogers. Some decent numbers at the plate, though. Wojo went 2 for 2 with a couple of RBI. He also hit pretty well against Minnetonka as well. Noah Wolf 2 for 4, scored twice. Jordan Little got a hit in his only at bat. Connor Boone 1 for 3, drove 1 in and scored 1. Dan Matthews went 4 1/3 with 7 hits, 2 runs, and John Kutsky ended up getting the loss in 2/3 of an inning. Gave up 2 hits and 1 run. It was not earned, but it was a home run. That's an interesting one. You don't see that very often. But then you saw Schoolmeisters, 4 runs given up, none of them earned. On Saturday, they made up the game against Elk River that was supposed to be played on Thursday, and they beat the Elks in the conference opener 5-2. Connor Boone went the distance on the mound, giving up 6 hits, 2 runs, only 1 earned, 3 walks and a strikeout. Wojo continues to be strong at the plate, 2 for 3 to lead the team with 2 RBI and 2 runs. Jordan Little was 2 for 4, as was Matt Essler. Connor Boone 1 for 2 and drove in a run. And then Monday, this was a wild one.
It was a wild one. We were there for a short time.
And, the Cardinals coming back. Well, they had a lead. They gave it up. They went to 8 innings. They win anyway. 12-11 the final over Maple Grove. And the Crimson, one of those conference rivals that's always a tough team. And this would have been a fun one. A lot of offense. I'm not sure the pitchers enjoyed it so much. Wojo got his first start of the game, of the season, and gave up 9 runs in 4 innings.
Tough outing for him
not the kind of start he wanted. Dumovic gets the win in 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs. Michael Zimbeck, 3 for 4 from the plate, drove in 3 and scored 3. Noah Wolf, 2 for 4 again, scores twice. Connor Boone, 1 for 2, had a couple of RBI and a couple of runs scored. And Cody Thompson was 3 for 5 and also drove a run in. Cardinals at Park Center on Wednesday, at Anoka next Monday. So a busy stretch to start, but after Wednesday, they'll get a little bit of a breather. And I think Wednesday, Park Center, not necessarily a powerhouse in the conference, so an opportunity maybe for them to continue their streak and then get a little bit of a breather.
Well, go back to that outing by Dumovic. A solid outing. They come in and they'd given up a number of runs, but to get 4 solid innings out of them, it was good for their bullpen, and I think that was important for this coaching staff to see the ability that he had, gives him another arm out of the pen.
Yeah, and again, just for them to get the season started and get this many games in this early is big, and also for them to come out and get their victories going against their conference opponents is absolutely huge. The softball team also started against Minnetonka last week. They lost to the Skippers 7-2 in the season opener. Kayla Thone started on the mound and got the loss in 5 1/3, gave up 9 hits, 5 runs with 5 strikeouts. Mackenzie Wilkins got a nice bat going to start the season, 3 for 4 in the opener with an RBI. Sam Anderson, an RBI in her only at bat. C.C. Orlikowski, 2 for 3 with a run scored. Alyssa Hansen and Jackie Larson, both 2 for 4. Unfortunately, the bats went cold on Friday when they traveled to take on the Elk River Elks. They lose this one 10-0. Sam Anderson pitched all 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, 10 runs. Only 2 of those 10 runs were earned. 3 walks with 3 strikeouts. Cardinals as a team 0 for 18 as they were no hit with 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, and 7 errors in the field, too. And that was a game I think that the coach, Nienaber, would just like to forget, put that in the rearview mirror, learn from what happened, and come back and move forward.
No question.
Well, the Cardinals were back at home Monday facing another one of the top teams in the Northwest Suburban. The Maple Grove Crimson dominated an 8-2 victory to start the season over Blaine, and they came in looking to overpower the Cardinals. A key component in their success this season is senior pitcher Sydney Smith, widely considered one of the top arms in the state. She proves worthy of the hype from the very start. Smith strikes out the side in the first, catching Jackie Larson and Whitney Gregg looking before fanning Mackenzie Wilkins with the fast-rising fastball. Only a few of the Cardinals hitters figured this one out, but Alyssa Hansen had her timing on as she hammers that first pitch in the second all the way to the fence in right center for a leadoff triple. Nice piece of hitting there. But Smith, she was calm, cool, and collected. She stranded the runner there, getting 2 more strikeouts to get out of the jam. Cardinal pitcher Sam Anderson looked strong as well, but Crimson able to manufacture some runs. 4th inning, Sarah Michael grounds to second. Maddie Flash Gordon able to beat the throw to the plate, got Maple Grove on the board. We move to the 5th. 2 on and nobody out for Sammy Sadler. Smacks it deep to right. It's over the head of Kelly Best. Allows Aaron Roll to score from second to make it 2-0. We're going to see some more small ball. In the 6th, the runners at the corners for Megan Melcrone. She sends the fly to right. Best with a pretty good throw to the plate. But it's not in time to catch Michael, and Maple Grove leads by 3. But it was more than enough for Smith. She allowed just 4 hits, shutting out the Cardinals. 14 strikeouts. That loss. 3-0 loss drops the Cardinals to 0-3 on the season. I am losing my voice as we speak.
I was just noticing that as we got into the middle of that one. I didn't know if you were choked up or what the deal was.
You know, I was choked up a little. Some people might like the fact that I'm losing my voice. Others may not.
Well, I tell you what, Sam, Sydney Smith coming in, we knew we were going to see something special, and she definitely lived up to that billing. A very impressive fastball, and even more impressive off-speed pitch.
Absolutely.
Had the Cardinals out in front and guessing all game long. Gave up just 4 hits, and really, you know, the Cardinals actually after the triple, they got a walk, and they had runners at second and third, nobody out. And Smith able to leave them both stranded early in the game, no score. And you mentioned it right at that time. You said that may be the one that comes back to haunt them, and it certainly did.
It did.
Because the Cardinals really didn't have many threats in that game.
Tom Cornell getting me a bottle of water. Appreciate that.
Savior.
Savior.
The savior, Tom Cornell.
Thank you, Tom. You're a good man. I don't care what anyone says.
That's why we always lean on our crew. We can't do it without him, especially when Howie loses his voice right at the beginning of the show.
I know. Can you believe it?
Softball upcoming at Park Center on Wednesday. They are at Anoka next Monday, and they need to get some things figured out. I think Park Center is going to give them the opportunity to do that. Anoka always a very tough club, so it'd be nice to see them maybe gain a little bit of confidence, a little bit of momentum with a win over Park Center. Get some good practice to end the week, and maybe this time next week we'll be talking about a win streak for them as well.
Let's hope so.
Tennis team continued its season, and again, we talked about it. They played a very tough Irondale team to start the season, and then they get Maple Grove, ranked top 5 in the state, and they lose to the Crimson 6-1. Bauer and Grimmer playing at second doubles got the only win of the match for the Cardinals, winning 6-3, 6-1. And there you see Bobby Yang and Ellis Sky kept it close at first doubles, 2-6, 4-6. Michael Yang and Musolf lost 1-6, 1-6 at third doubles. The singles, 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, and 6-0, 6-0. Maple Grove did not give up a single game at singles. Now, 2 of their top 3 singles players were state champions as a doubles team last year, and the other of their top 3 was at state as a singles player. So they're pretty stacked.
Not bad squad. Tough way.
No, the Cardinals lost a heartbreaker on Monday to start this week to Anoka. They lose to the Tornadoes 4-3. The wins are for Yang at third singles, Bauer and Grimmer at first doubles, Musolf and Vang at third doubles. Ellis Sky lost just a nail biter at second singles, and that ended up being the one that decided it. And Coach Storick, in his email to me this morning, was talking about that. It went down to that last one. They were the last ones out there. It was 3-3. He loses, as you see, 6-7, 7-6, 5-7. It doesn't get much closer than that. It went down to the very end. Everyone knew the whole meat was riding on that one, and he talked quite a bit about the class of Ellis Sky. Immediately after the loss, shook hands with his his opponent, went over to the coach and congratulated him on the win, went back to Coach Storick and said, you know, it's a tough loss, but I know what I have to work on. And that is the type of character you're looking for in any athlete.
Well, you know, losing one like that, it's so difficult because you're right there at the doorstep at the other end and winning that. But then I think it allows you to learn from the mistakes you made, to lose games that closely, and obviously be able to do better the next time out.
Well, and again, the big thing to show that character and to recognize what it is you need to work on in order to be on the winning side of that next time around is very impressive.
Absolutely.
Tennis team at Blaine on Wednesday. They will host Armstrong on Thursday, so their busy schedule will continue. The track and field team started their seasons last week with a meet at Centennial. It was a good opportunity for both boys and girls squads to get an idea of what they have to work with to start the season. Also included in the meet were the teams from Prairie Seeds Academy, and the Blaine girls team was there to make it a quad, including 3 Northwest Suburban teams. Just a couple of highlights to show you from the girls' meet. Up first, the end of the 100-meter dash. This is a heat. Cardinals captain Brianna Clark wins the heat, but finishes tied for second place with a time of 13:31. Distance team having an impact for the Cardinals early on, a packed field at the start of the 1,600-meter run. But Hannah Davis is able to break away and cruise to the finish line in first place, a time of 6 minutes, 4 seconds. Girls finished third out of 4 teams with 61 points. Move to the boys' side. And we stay with the distance events. A lot of familiar faces on the Cardinals distance squad, and no real surprise to see senior Kyle Mehrhoff as one of the leaders. Finishes third in the 1,600, crossing the finish line in 5 minutes, 3 seconds. Mid-distance looking very strong as well. Brandon Pratt setting the pace in the 400-meter dash at this meet. He wins with a time of 44.72 seconds. William Oradonik, I think, isn't far behind. He
we'll get it
finishes
corrected.
second at 59.75. Malik Shepard grabs another blue ribbon for Coon Rapids at 300-meter hurdles. Got a comfortable lead as he crosses the finish line in 44.72 seconds. More mid-distance strength for Coon Rapids in the 800-meter run. Joe Thone is cruising to a second-place finish in 2 minutes, 16 seconds. Marcus Rask will finish in third, just 4 seconds behind. A lot of positives for the Cardinals, but at the end, second-place finish behind Centennial and way ahead of Prairie Seeds, who was really out of their league. Here's a look at some of the other notables from the boys' side. Nate Muggenberg won the 2-mile or the 3,200-meter run with a time of 11:07. Tabla winning the triple jump with a distance of 39.1 or 39 feet 1 inch. Ntambwe, you thought you had lost that.
Never.
I'm a little. I didn't quite understand it because it clearly had a G on the score sheet I was shown, but the only one listed on the Minnesota State High School League's website is Prince Ntambwe.
Right.
But I'm going to go ahead and think it was Gale because they had a G on the score set.
I would think
score
so.
sheet. Blake Weber did well in both throwing events, finished second in the shot put and third in the discus. Tim Mandyke also finished third in the shot with a 40-foot 6-inch shot. On the girls' side, Hannah Davis won the 1,600-meter run. 4x4 relay team, first place in 4 minutes, 15 seconds. Again, that's the team that's the one that went to state and set a school record last year. But only half of it back. Brianna Clark was second place in the 100-meter dash, as we talked about. Dixon was second place in the 200-meter dash. Ackerman second place in the long jump. And then second place in the high jump, Brianna Clark again, 4 foot 8 inches, clearing my height. And Angela Barrett finished second in the pole vault, 7 foot 6 inches, which is me plus Howie.
Don't be so generous with your height.
Hey, you know, sometimes you got to pad the stats a little bit.
Exactly.
So,
if you can get away with it, go for it.
Yeah, the track and field teams, again, out today, and just a gorgeous day. It'll be their first opportunity, I think, to really see how they deal with heat.
Right.
Because it's warm out. And the first really, really warm, sunny day with very little wind. So they're at Maple Grove today, and we'll have those results for you next week. Blaine also supposed to be there. Shakopee Relays coming up on Thursday, and then next Tuesday they're at Centennial, and again supposed to be a tri-meet with Blaine. We'll see what happens.
I was going to say we'll see what happens. How the Cards play.
Exactly. Both golf teams will get the season started this week. The boys host the Bunker Hills Invite as they do every year. 34 teams makes it the largest high school golf tournament in the state of Minnesota. And then on Monday, they will be at the TPC Invite over in Blaine. Girls golf team will be at Shamrock for an invitational on Thursday. They start the conference schedule at Champlain Park at Edinburgh, USA. Next Tuesday.
Well, the golf teams have to love this early spring, too, because you're talking about it's so much different when you get out on the course versus being inside.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the sunny is good. The wind we have had the last few days,
that plays havoc.
That makes it a little difficult to play the game, and definitely gets you tested in some different situations. And hopefully, they've gotten out and got enough swings in, and they're ready to go. It sounded like when we talked to them for the previews that both teams are very excited about what they have and feel like they can really be competitive this year. Boys especially, according to Coach Overski, said he saw a lot of improvement from a lot of kids. Same with Coach Keeney, but just maybe not quite as much depth and quite as much talent at the top end as the boys might have.
Now, granted, all teams are dealing with it, but we'll see if the advantage of getting out early really helps them as the season progresses, because I think it will.
Well, and a difficult thing for these teams, we talk about it every year, there's a couple of programs that are just top-notch in the Northwest Suburban, and that happens in every sport. But Maple Grove has a very strong golf program, and Elk River is very noted for their golf program as well. Add to Tino Grace and the other new entrants. I think Tino Grace, I'm just going to go out on a limb and think private school kids probably play pretty well at golf. They probably spend some time on the course in the summer. Just a guess.
Absolutely.
Just a guess.
And you're not one to go out on a limb, so you must feel pretty confident.
I'm just guessing. But, I don't know. I have no idea, honestly. But, there's a chance. Yeah, maybe. Lacrosse teams, as we talked about at the top of the show, were supposed to start the season last Thursday against Champlain Park. That one was postponed because it was raining, it was cold, and I think the big concern was the condition of the fields because they were so wet.
Right.
How much that would affect them. Give it some time to dry out, and it was done across the board. Everybody postponed that day.
Actually, not true. I did see there were a few teams that did play that day. A few.
Not in the Anoka-Hennepin School District.
Not in the Anoka-Hennepin, nope, absolutely. But there weren't a lot. There was just a handful.
Across the board.
Yep.
I believe it was throughout the Northwest Suburban.
Well, you are correct. It was.
I think the Northwest Suburban was just, we're not going to play. Yep. And that's a very good thing for some of these teams. The boys had a week and a half of practice. The girls had only been in practice for 3 days.
Absolutely.
But we'll get to them in a moment. Boys team getting the season started at home on Monday of this week, and they take on Centennial. They lose 11-2 to the Cougars.
Well, Monday's game was just the start of what the Cardinals are hoping will be a very exciting season. The boys are really eager to forget all about last year and start to build the program towards the future. They've got a strong group of experienced veterans leading the way, and they want to help the new coach set a strong foundation.
Oh, I love our new coach. I had him back in 8th grade, and the youth program's really good. He really knows what he's doing, and I think he really gets along with the players a lot more.
The Cardinals' new head coach is Coon Rapids alum Justin Sampaga Irisi. He's been coaching with the youth program since before he graduated in 2008. So he was a natural fit to take over the varsity program.
Yeah, I probably coached 95% of those kids already. Exactly. So they knew me, I knew them, and it was like old times when I got back on the field.
Like old times, but not quite the same. Paga, as everyone calls him, has high expectations for his players and how they focus on improving every part of their game.
Still fundamentals we kind of need to improve on. That's throughout, even from JV to varsity, we all need to work on it. But our positioning systems is really shining right now, I think. Especially our defense looks really good too. So
last year was a rough one for the program. The Cardinals went through a coaching change mid-season and finished without a win. But they were young and they were resilient. This year, they're better prepared to make some noise.
But our senior group's really good. We've been together for a while and we gel really good, and we've got some juniors coming up And we got a lot more numbers in our underclassmen, so that's good for future years.
Another positive change for the Cardinals this season comes courtesy of Mother Nature. Instead of spending their first few weeks in the field house, the Cardinals were on the field day one, getting ready for what would be a challenging season.
It's nice to be out here because you can work on different things like ground balls. You get better prepared for games. So
Paga isn't setting his sights on the stars. Instead, he's keeping the team's goals realistic and focusing on the most important aspect of high school sports, having fun. He's confident that will be the key to getting this program to grow and flourish.
This year we'll kind of build the reputation. It's a good team to play for. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be fun and competitive, and we're going to have a great time and a blast.
Yeah, looking forward to see what Paga is able to do with the team, and I think it's great bringing someone up from the youth level, someone who knows a lot of these kids, has worked with them before, not only because he knows them, but they know their coach, and that is huge. And I talked to him a little bit about what they need to do in order to try and get this program to build up some numbers. And it was very good for them to have Comer for a couple of years, but now the numbers have declined again,
right.
And they're hoping they can help bring it back up. Cardinals host Elk River on Wednesday, and Howie?
We'll be there.
They will host Maple Grove a week from Wednesday. Girls lacrosse team, wow, what a start on Monday. Beating up on the Centennial Cougars 16-3. It was about 8-1, I think, when they gave up a goal late in the first half.
Correct.
And then it was 16-2 when they gave up a goal with about a minute and 15 seconds left in the second half. Hanula and Ryan, the two captains, each with 2 goals, 3 assists. Hannah Nelson had 4 goals. Allie Erickson, 3 goals and an assist. Allie Misquick, a goal and 2 assists. Jessica Lawrence made 13 saves to get the win in the net. Big win over Centennial. Definitely a great way to start the season, but this Cardinal team is on a mission this season. Cardinals have been so close, but have come up just short each of the last 4 years. 4 years in a row they have lost in the section final. This year's team is determined to end that streak and finally take the next step.
I think that we are up to speed quite quickly. I think our passing is real sharp. I think our enthusiasm is really high, and I think the girls are excited and ready to go.
This Cardinals team may be as motivated as any we've ever seen. They're driven to finally get over that hump and reach the state tournament. The season was supposed to start last Thursday against one of their greatest rivals, the Champlin Park Rebels, the team that beat them in the section championship the last 2 years in a row.
Of course, we wanted to play them right off the bat, but it's actually nice to have even a week more just to prepare for them, especially because it's going to decide the season that we're going to have. And now looking at that, we have more time to prepare zone entry, our defense end, and just time to make more plays.
Having more time to prepare is always good, especially when you consider this is a team that is not only trying to replace some important pieces, but a team that is working on a new way to play.
Well, last year, in the years in the past, we were more just one pass and the person ran it all the way in, which worked for us. But this year, we're working on more short-to-short passes, trying to lose the man, so then they can go shoot. I think it'll work better.
The increased emphasis on teamwork is designed to bring more balance to the offensive end. But it's a move that can only be made because the team has the athletes capable of taking the program to the next level.
We've been moving the ball real quickly and moving the ball around, spread it out, and the passing is really sharp. As hard as I've seen people passing, our catching is right away up to mid-season form, so it's looking good.
Cardinals lineup has a lot of talent and experience. They're also replacing some key pieces, especially on the defensive end. From the very start, though, it seems they'll have no problems picking up right where they left off.
We have a lot of younger girls that filled our senior spots from last year, and they're fitting right in. They're acting like they should be here and having confidence with us, so that's really good.
The team's ability to continually rebuild quickly really isn't that surprising. From its inception, the program has focused on finding great athletes and making them a part of the team.
Most of the team is 2-3 sport athletes, so I think that helps us in a way because we kind of just pick it up and are able to do well.
And it's not just about their physical abilities. Great athletes are driven and competitive, and that's what you see when you look at this Cardinals team. And there's no question, they haven't forgotten how their season ended last year.
It's rough. It's not any ideal way to end our, like, any year, losing in the section finals, like, no. But this year, senior year, that's all that matters, right?
Well, the Cardinals are at Elk River on Wednesday. They host Egan on Thursday, and we are completely out of time because we're a couple of corny weirdos that sit up here. That's us. That's going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continue to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Mr. Thomas Cornell behind the camera, Howie Shapiro to my right. I'm Joe Young saying good night.